ho, ho! It is truly the season. The season for what? The season for thinking. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, we lead, and we inspire. And I've been doing some thinking, especially about things that I hear and things that happen in my life. You know, one of the things you want to do is you want to take some notes. The unexamined life is not worth living. Give yourself some time to think about things that people say, things that you hear. Write them down. Figure out their relevance. I'm going to get right to work, and I want to start with some things that I've been thinking about. Some of them are kind of trivial and dumb, and one of them I think is very intense. That's the one we're going to do at the end, so make sure you stay tuned all the way until the end, whether you're a conservative or a liberal. All right, the first one I want to talk about is some people were telling me about this great place to get some tacos. So having the internet at my fingertips, I went and I looked up the place and I was reading some of the reviews. And the first review that I read said, and I'm quoting here, "I am very picky when it comes to taco trucks." At that point I decided, you know what, perhaps I shouldn't be reading these reviews, I should just go and give it a try. Okay, so once again, recognize the source of the people that are giving you the advice. Here's something I heard that's a really good mantra to have. Instead of saying, well, here's what it says, what is strong with me, instead of what's wrong with me. Too many people spend time thinking about what's wrong with themselves instead of thinking about what's strong with themselves. Which way sounds like a better way to live your life? The answer is obvious. Next one. I don't get nearly enough credit in life for the things I managed not to say. Okay, here's kind of an interesting little story. I have a buddy that I talk to from time to time, and he's going through some challenging times right now on a personal level, a business level. So he gave me a call, he and I talk, and I gave him, you know, a little advice. And I spoke to another friend of ours, sort of the connector that connected the two of us by giving me the information. And he said, yeah, I heard what you were doing with, you know, our friend, and I think that's really a neat thing. When he said this, why didn't you say that? Or when he said this, why didn't you do that? And I said to him, you know what? If I had said that, I probably would have been right. But that wasn't my main objective. Always keep in mind what your main objective is. You don't have to say everything that's on your mind if it's not going to move the thing forward. If what it's going to do is sort of be a negative, like, oh God, I have to hear another bad thing. If that's the case, don't say it. Don't say it. You know, one of the things they talk about when they're talking about general managers in sports, baseball, basketball, football, is some of the best trades are the ones that they don't make. Some of the things that you don't say are the smartest things that you do in your life. Next one. If you don't need a mask or to be vaccinated because God will protect you, then why do you need a gun? Okay? Typically, people that are on the right, conservatives, say, oh, I need to have a gun, gun control, so on and so forth. Okay, you know, the right to bear arms, all of that. But at the same time, they're saying, well, I don't need to have a mask. I don't need to get a shot. The evidence is clearly there. Does that make some sense? So, I mean, the logic of people talking on both sides of their mouths to make a different point kind of eludes me. All right, that's why one of the things as a leader that you want to do is use what the people you're working with, when they're telling you what they want, what their dreams, their goals, and ambitions are. One of the things you want to do is use what they say against them, for them. So if someone's having a challenging time, you say, now I remember you were telling me about that house on the hill on the lake that you wanted. Is this the activity that's going to get you there? I think not. Isn't that what you said? Now you meant that, didn't you? You really want that, don't you? Be in a position to use what someone says against them for them, which means you really have to listen. to make change, you have to be the change. Okay, that was sort of an off-the-cuff remark that I heard, but it made a lot of sense. People so wait for the outside circumstances to change. My friends, Eli, if you want change in your life, look no further than the mirror, because you are the one that needs to make the change. Which brings me to our final point for today, which is concerning, I live in Texas now, and so people are always talking about this abortion law. Where in Texas, it's going before the Supreme Court, and they haven't ruled on it or anything yet. Probably by the time this video comes out, they'll have said something, but so far they haven't said anything. And they're talking in Texas, well, it has to be in the first 6 weeks. In Mississippi, they're saying in the first 15 weeks. But the law right now is 24 weeks. At least that's my understanding of the law. That where you can't have an abortion after 24 weeks or after 6 weeks or after 15 weeks, depending upon what state you're living in. And the reason that they're giving for making the change from 24 weeks to 6 weeks or 15 weeks is because science has become much more advanced, and these things can be measured much more accurately. Okay, this is the conservative viewpoint. Okay, I can understand that. That actually makes sense. That's a pretty decent argument. I may agree or disagree. That's not for this channel. We're not here to do political stuff. My point is, science has changed the final conclusion to a number of things that we're ignoring. The same people that are saying, well, we need to change the abortion time, we need to lessen it, before you can't have an abortion, are the same people that are saying, hey, I have the right to bear arms. The Second Amendment, whatever amendment it is, it gives me the right to bear arms. Hasn't science made some significant changes in that very arena versus at the time that the abortion law was written with the Supreme Court? That was what, the 1950s or so, 1960s, somewhere in that ballpark, and we've had a great number of scientific advances. The Constitution was written in the 1700s. Certainly we've had some scientific advancements from that particular point in time. At that point in time, you had one gun, you had to reload it, shoot it again, it wasn't multiple. And we're still seeing these school shootings. Is that what we want? Does that make sense? So if one argument works for abortion, that should also work for guns. Let's take that argument even further. How about global warming? Certainly the scientists told us, hey, we're heading in the wrong direction. We need to do things, yet we still have the same laws. And the people that are the same ones that are conservatives are saying, I don't want to change that. I don't want to change that. You have to face change. You have to face science. Science is a reality. Or how about our voting practices? We here in the United States use the Electoral College to elect a president. To my mind, that's a dumb way of doing it. Back in the day, it made sense to do things that way. It was a check on the people. That was the purpose of the Founding Fathers. Well, now, you don't need that. One man or one woman, one vote, and you can do it nationwide. Then everybody has an equal vote. Instead of me voting in California one way and everybody voting the other way, my vote is meaningless. Why should my vote be meaningless? It shouldn't. Does that make sense? Or how about the income tax? Why aren't people that are wealthy paying a certain percentage of their wealth, of their income? And that should be uniform throughout so that everybody is paying the same percentage without all of the benefits that tax laws give the wealthy. Why? Because the people that are in power are the ones that want those tax laws to be in place. Does that make sense? So once again, keep in mind that these arguments that you hear, people say, well, the science is advanced, so therefore we should, lower the amount of time with abortion. Women know much sooner. Or the thing about guns. Certainly guns are not the same as they were in the 18th century. Does that make sense? Anyway, once again, this is a time for thinking. I hope I've given you some things to ponder. Love to hear what you think about them in the space below. Send me a comment. And once again, hey, don't ration the passion, fashion the passion. I'm Eli's dad.